mushrooms because it's a mushroom risotto dish, 2 diced onions and 3 diced garlic cloves, olive oil, brown rice. I use brown rice instead of normal arbori rice because it is a complex carb, which means it will release energy much slower. A cup of white wine. This adds some nice flavor. Don't worry about the alcohol content, it will be cooked off. 1.2 liters of chicken stock, fresh thyme, fresh basil, and Parmesan. I added some brown rice into a pot and I poured some water over it. We are going to add a little bit of salt to give it some flavor, and now just let it come to a boil. And then once it comes to a boil, let it simmer for 15 minutes. We are not cooking the rice completely, we are just cooking a little bit so then the brown rice kernels will open. While the rice is simmering, I'm going to saute onion and garlic until they're translucent. Alright, now I'm going to add the mushrooms, and it doesn't really matter how much mushroom you add. I just like to add a lot of mushrooms because I love it. And I'm going to add olive oil and I'm going to just brown up the mushrooms until it browns up like this. Now once the mushrooms browned, I'm going to put the mushroom mixture to the side. Since the rice has finished simmering, I'm going to just drain it into a colander. Adding olive oil into a pot, I'm going to add the brown rice inside and I'm going to just lightly toss it in the olive oil until it's nicely coated. Now I'm going to pour in the red wine. You don't want to pour it in too much. You want the rice to absorb the red wine a little bit at a time. During the absorbing process, make sure the heat is on medium-high. I like to keep an eye while the rice is absorbing because you don't know when it might have absorbed all of the liquid. I like to stir around slightly just to prevent any sticking. I have chicken stock in another pot that I warmed up a bit earlier. I'm going to use 1 ladle and I'm going to pour that in the rice. And now we're just going to wait for that to absorb. I like to stir around slightly just to prevent any sticking of the rice at the bottom or on the sides. And you know when the rice has absorbed all of the liquid because when you move it around, the rice will go back to the original position. I like to move the rice from the outer edge to the center, and if it spreads back to the original position, that means it has absorbed the liquid. Once it has absorbed the liquid, then you add another ladle of chicken stock and you continue doing this process until all of the chicken stock has been used up. On the last ladle, you're going to also add the mushroom mixture and you're going to stir that in. At this time, I'm also going to add the thyme. I'm just going to pick it off straight from the stem and just put it in. You can put as much or as little as you want. I like thyme, so I'm going to add a reasonable amount. I'm also going to tear up some basil and just put it in. Then stir. This is completely optional, but I like to add a little bit of butter because I like the flavor it gives. Now lastly, I'm going to sprinkle in some Parmesan because you can't really go wrong with cheese in a risotto dish. Now stir around and watch as the Parmesan melts. Since the dish has enough salt from the cheese as well as from the chicken broth, you don't really need to add any more salt, so I'm just gonna season with some pepper. Just stir that up again and now you can serve up, and this is what the final dish looks like. And it just shows you that eating healthy, it does not necessarily have to be boring. If you like the look of my healthy take on the mushroom risotto, I would appreciate if you press the like button down below and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time, bye!